In this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make the yarn ident. This is by far the most accurate tutorial of the yarn ident. Once you finish, you're going to have something that looks exactly like it. But before I get into the video, I've got two things to say. First off, the video can be a bit complicated, so if you want to just do it the easy way, there's a template in the description that you can buy for a very small price. Second off, I have a new channel where I just upload all my ident client work. So if you turn on all post notifications for that channel, and you can use it as a source to view my idents in high quality, and you can try and learn from them, take inspiration from them, etc. But yeah, let's get into the video. Okay, so once you're here inside of After Effects and you've got this file loaded that I told you to load, and you have explode shape layers and you have flow, you're ready to go. So now we're just going to grab our text tool and we're going to go here and we're going to type in whatever we want the name to be, all in lowercase. So I'm going to put it as yarn. I'm going to select this and I'm going to center it. For the font, we're using Fairy Eastern Serif Bold and the size is going to be 400 pixels. Now we're going to go onto this text, we're going to press P and we're going to change this Y value to 630. We're now going to right click on this text and go create, and then create shapes from text. Delete the bottom layer, click on this, explode the shape layer using this button here, delete that, and now we have these all as individual shape layers, which is going to make things a lot easier to work with. So let's start off by doing the Y as it is the first letter. So we're going to pre-compose this. I'm just going to rename this Y to make it a bit easier. We're going to go in here, and as you can see, we've got this Y here. So in the yarn ident, what happens is the things sort of all come curving in from different angles. So we're going to try and figure out where we want it to curve in from, and then do the right on effect. Make sure no lines are coming in from the sides, because that'll mess it up. You always want them to be coming in from the top or the bottom. So I'm going to do it from the top, and I'm going to make it curve out like this, just like how it does in the actual yarn ident. And I'm also going to make this one stick up a bit. So we're going to go into this curve angles composition, and we're going to pick the curve angle we want. These are all sized correctly, so don't change the scaling or anything. I'm going to take this curve angle one, which is this one up here, press Ctrl C, go into this, Ctrl V, and there we have it. I'm now going to zoom in and line them up together. You can use the arrow keys to adjust things, and that looks pretty much spot on. I don't really want it to be this high, so I'm just going to hold shift so it doesn't move side to side, and I'm going to move it down, and I want it to be about there. That looks good. Next, I'm going to go into my Y. I'm going to go into the contents, Y, path. I'm going to go to 50 frames, put this keyframe right here. Then I'm going to go to about 20 frames maybe, and I'm going to put this up to about here, or in line with this, and I'm going to add a graph which is going to look a bit like this. And now I'm going to select my pen tool. I'm going to make sure I've got no fill and a stroke of about 65, and I'm going to make sure nothing's selected, and I'm going to click here below this, here, make that wider, here. If you might have to wait for a second for it to load, and I'm going to need to make sure all the white is covered up. If you hold shift while using the pen tool, the lines will go directly straight. I'm going to go along as to where I want it to sort of write on. So I'm going to go here as well, and here. And I think that is about where I want it to end. I may as well just go all the way. I'm just going to hide my curve angle so I can see where it actually is supposed to go up to, which is here, spot on there. Maybe a bit further down. That should be good though. Okay, so now we have got our first shape layer. We're going to hide that, and we're going to hide the curve angle, and we're going to do the second one. So same as before, make sure you're not selecting anything. I'm going to shift click a little bit above this, shift click down because it's going vertical. The white showing there, we don't want that. Boom. Okay, so now we have both our shape layers. We can start working on our trim paths. So we're going to click this little drop down arrow, click add, and then add a trim path. Open this up, keyframe the start and end. Then we're going to go here to about 50 frames once again. I'm going to keyframe again. I'm just going to hide the other trim path so it doesn't get in the way. And we're going to start off. So we want this to start off not showing anything. So 0, 0. And we want it to end here. And with that, about in line with that. So 18.6 looks to be about perfect for that. So now we've got this trim path going. I'm just going to add our graph. Boom. And now we're going to do the exact same thing as that, but for the other shape layer. So we can unhide it. Contents, add trim paths, open it, keyframe, go over to 50 frames, add those, put that to 100. We're going to go here and we're going to go to the first one, 0, 0, go to the end, and we're going to change the end one to be where we want it to end. So I'm going to hide this curves, and I'm going to go back here, zoom in, I'm going to find the exact right place. 45 looks to be bang on. So now that that is perfect, we're going to add our graph as well. We can unhide the other one. Now, an error we may have is that we don't want this to be in line with this because it's going to be showing stuff there. So we're going to go here and we're going to use our arrow keys to move this along to the right to make sure that it's only in contact with this line. And I'm also going to move these keyframes forward to be in line with those other keyframes for the right bit of the Y. And now I'm happy with this. I can keyframe these two shape layers. And now I'm happy with this. I can pre-compose these two shape layers by selecting them. I can unhide my curve angle, and I can go and I can implode these shape layers to be one shape layer. Delete these other two. And I can set the track matte as alpha matte, pre-comp 1, which is the layer above. And now let's have a look. And that is looking pretty nice. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to pre-compose both of these. We're going to press Control D twice. Go forward 2 frames by using the page up and down keys. 1, 2, move that there. 1, 2, move that there. And now we're going to go over here. We're going to search up fill in the effects panel. Drag a fill to this bottom layer. And we're going to go color. And we're going to change the color to FFA 600, like that. We're now going to copy this fill effect, put it on the second layer. I'm going to change that. We're going to change this A here to a D to get a slightly yellower thing. And now we're going to play it through. And you get the sort of orangey yellow contrail that Jan has in his ident. Lovely. So now we can go back to our ident, and you can see that that is working pretty well. Basically, what you would do now is you'd repeat the exact same process for all of the other letters, but it's basically the same process, so I'm not going to show you this. Just remember, don't make any lines going side to side, just make them go up. So if I'm thinking how I could have done this, I could go line down, curving to the right, line up. I could go line down, line curving to the left. You get what I mean. But now I'm going to show you how to do the scaling that Jan has in his ident. So we're going to shift click all of these and pre-compose them into one layer. We're going to go to the very start, and we're going to scale the keyframe 150. We're now going to go to 120 frames. As you can see there, we are at 120 right there, and I'm going to change this to 100, and then I'm going to go to 150 frames, which is right there, and put it to 0. So what we're going to do first off, for this end keyframe, I made a custom graph here. You're just going to want to copy this, basically this line going out here at the bottom, and do that. So as you can see, it sort of animates out like that, and we're going to add an intro animation, which I'm going to use this, and I'm going to go in and customize it. As you can see here, we're on the value graph. I'm going to put this to about there. As you can see, that's looking pretty nice. So it sort of scales down, slows down a lot, and then transitions out. And now we've got the scaling that Jan uses on his ident. Now we're basically done. There's only a couple things missing, which is the text that shows edited by and then the at. So we're going to go inside of this pre-comp, and we're going to add those now. So we're going to make another text layer, and we're going to type out edited by. We're going to select it, and we're going to change the font to morning type bold. And we're going to set this to 105 pixels, and we're going to set this width to 120. Now we're just going to go in here, zoom in a bit, and we're going to adjust it to where we want it to be, so it's exactly in line with the edge of that. Move it up a bit to where we think it looks good. I think that's looking good about there. Now we can just duplicate this text, change it to your at. So Jan's at is at Jan VFX. I think it might be different now, but it was Jan VFX. Go down here, basically do the same thing. Move it down. Same as the other one. I'd say that's good. And now we're going to do the position keyframe. So the position keyframes start about at, I'd say, 35 frames. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to keyframe both of these positions and move them forward a little bit. And we're going to change the Y keyframe to be about, so they're in there maybe, just like that. And we're going to add a nice graph here. I might just do something like that. Let's see how that looks. Just going to have a little play around here. I think that looks good. It would look a bit more normal if all of the letters were animated, but I haven't animated all of them. The next step is to go to where it scales out, which in the main comp is about 2 seconds in. And we're going to go maybe a little bit before that, so to like frame 105. So yeah, I'm going to mask this out, just like so. And I'm going to do the same with the other one. Boom. So now these are both masks. What we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to create a keyframe for the mask path on both of them right here. And then I'm going to go forwards to like, I don't know, 230. Actually, no, about, I'd say 220. No, 215. And then I'm going to make it so that these masks sort of become invisible. Boom. Then I'm going to increase the feather a little bit. I'd say about 30 is the feather. I'm just going to make sure that these both end here. And now we're going to add a nice little graph on both of these, just like that. I'm going to use this sort of graph again. And now I'm going to pre-compose these together, go to the start, and we're going to create a mask around the Jan text. So about that, I'd say. And we're going to invert the mask. As you can see, this needs to be moved down a little bit more, so I'm going to do that. And there we go, that's how it should look. So now let's go back into our ident composition. And that's looking really good. The final step, just as a finishing touch, you don't have to do this, is add Rsmb to it. I'm just going to grab Rsmb, set the motion distance to about 65, turn on use GPU and put that to maybe 1. And I'm going to let this render out. And there you have it. the yarn ident. That is a pretty accurate recreation in my opinion. Imagine just with the other letters animated. I'll show you it right now with the other letters animated. And yeah, then you just want to sort of scale it down, and then once we scale it down and we are happy with the ident and how it looks, all we need to do is go over to render queue and just click render. I've already done all your render settings for you, and the ident should be transparent and perfect and ready to go. That's basically it. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope to see you in the next one. Just a quick reminder, be sure to subscribe to my second channel, link in the description, and also a templated version will be in the description. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. I'm that same old body with the steez. In a baked outfit, got a shark on the hood of my top and the ape on my tee. Been a minute since I linked with the bro, said link up soon, let's talk over tea. These days it's all about flexing, talk about bro, I'm trying to make this P. I got a text from the bro in Cali telling me sit tight, gonna make me a beat. And a guy for the stylish babe on a stylish date, trying to make me a treat.